This is the profile of Rani Tan for OBHR 001, Leadership and Team Building. Let's start with the resume analysis. This is Rani Tan's resume, so you can pull it off the SMU website. The link is provided below. From her resume, we can see that she's very focused on sociology. And she took up a job as a counselor, as you can see at the bottom left of the screen. Counselor to students at the Center for Counseling and Guidance. So what does all this mean? What is sociology in this context of LTB? You can Google that. Sociology means interaction with classmates and the professor, giving suggestions and understanding people. Now let's go back to the resume. We can see that Rani Tan is the creator of LTB, circled in blue at the bottom left of the screen, and she has quite a lot of work experiences. Let's take a look. There's a career development consultant. She's a part-time lecturer at SIM, human resource management specialist at NUS, part-time lecturer at SIM, tutor at NUS. So there's really a lot of jobs that she has taken up. So you can see that the focus of the resume right here is actually on the work experience. There has been many job experiences that last about 3 to 5 years. So these are her OMM tendencies. She focused a lot on interaction in class, which means class participation. She values experiences. This is shown from her work experience. We can see that she took up really a lot of jobs, and that shows that she values different kind of work experiences, and she wants to see that being shared in class. Here are recommendations. Talk more in class about your personal work experiences. So something will be like, oh, you took up a part-time job and this is what you learn, or you work at an internship at a particular company and you can share with the class your learning experiences. That's what makes Rani Tan give you 1 more mark. Next will be the classroom analysis. We'll look at some slides. This is from week 1. So if you take a look at a slide, let's take a look at this slide. What is leadership? No universal definition. Leadership is complex and hard to define, and there are many different definitions. Basically, she's telling you that you are free to interpret in any way you mean. Okay, and there's also a focus on the theory. And last but not least, you can see that there's actually a poor background. It's bright green, and the word color choice is also pretty bad. You are not able to see the words carefully. This is another slide from week 3. Again, it's the same. You are open to interpret using both theories. There's a freedom of interpretation over what you want to think about people, whether they're lazy or whether they're motivated, whether they like work or whether they get satisfaction. It's up to you. So there's this open freedom of interpretation. And of course, theory X, theory Y, there's the focus on theory. And last but not least, notice again that the background color is very bad. And the word color, especially the theory Y on the right, you can see that both are blue, so the contrast is not there and the words are pretty hard to notice. So here are her own tendencies that we can gather from her slides. She wants to hear your own personal interpretation shown through the freedom of expression, and your reasoning, which is your experiences, which we already know. And she likes theories. Make sure that there are many theories in whatever you're saying or writing. And here are recommendations. Speak up in class and share your experience on how it relates to the theory and your own personal interpretation. So talk about the theory, talk about your experience, that's what she likes, and your own personal opinion on it. Yeah, that's what she really likes to hear. And number 2, this one is more pertaining to the written assignments. Make sure you use many theories, because if you take a look at all her slides, you'll be able to see many theories. So you want to give that back to her. Make sure you use as many theories as you can in your written assignment. Okay, so this is how we will adjust a statement. This is the intended message. Our team has grown closer these few weeks. All team members now work well with one another. Now this is how we're going to adjust it to get 1 more mark from Rani Tan. We have built bonds that allow us to work in a team. Build bonds, we talk about the experience, the things that we are doing. So we sort of try to go through the process of us, of the team coming together, okay, and the interactions. Now what does interaction mean? Interactions is like the experience. We came together, we worked together, and the interactions between team members are now more fruitful and engaging. So this is how we will adjust the statement to get 1 more mark from Professor Rani Tan. Now this is interesting. Anomaly analysis. We only do this for maybe around 5 to 10% of the professors. Let's first look at the resume anomaly. We're putting Rani Tan beside a pretty standard professor on the right, Professor Martha Tipton. So we can see that there are actually quite a lot of differences. Number one, Rani Tan has no picture. Most professors will have a picture in their resume. And you can see that there's no proper organization of whatever she has on her left. I mean, there is some organization, educational qualifications, work experience, and maybe journals. That's about it. But if you take a look at the right, there's more organization, there's more effort to organize. So you can see that there's a picture on the right, top right, there's the email on the left, and then education, you can see that Professor Martha Tipton has a few boxes here and there, position helps. There's some form of arrangement, grants, research interests, but that's not present in Professor Rani Tan. Okay, and something very interesting about Professor Rani Tan is that there is no recent journals or papers that she has published. The last one is 1995 or something like that. Whereas on the right, you can see that usually professors will have to do some research. So you can see that usually their journals are done in the past 5 years. But for Professor Rani Tan, that's not present. So we can see that there's an issue here. And Professor Rani Tan is not your typical professor. So what does that mean? We want to ask ourselves, what is so different in a resume? Why is it so different from all other professors? And whether the information that we have just gathered from her resume is still useful to us and accurate. Now let's go back to her resume. The main differences in her resume compared to all other professors is, okay, number one, she created the course. Number two, she had a lot of experiences. You can see right from the blue circles, a lot of jobs, a lot of experiences. We can see that the resume is really focused on the work experience. Many jobs and experiences lasting 3 to 5 years, so that's the real difference. Let's take a look back at what the anomaly suggests. Number one, this anomaly suggests that there's an increased focus on experience. So previously we already identified it, but this anomaly suggests to us that it's more important than we think it is, which means that it's really very important. Number two, the previous focus that we have identified, which is on experience, is accurate and correct, which means that we can continue using the information on her resume. Now here's the recommendation. We need to place heavy emphasis on sharing your experiences, which means talking about your part-time job, talking about internship in class. Next is the class slides anomaly. These are 4 slides from different weeks. I want to bring your focus to the bottom right, guidelines to servant leadership. Right, look right in the center of the slide. There will be servant leadership. Now read on the bottom right, read helping others discover their inner spirit. Now are you seeing stars? Because I can't really focus on the slide anymore. The yellow words are really bright and the background is blue. So it causes the student to be unable to focus on the slide. So from the slide we can see that there's bad color choices, and that causes us to be unable to read the words properly. So what does this mean? Why is it that the color choice is so bad? You know, what does that tell us about the use of the slides? The answer is that there's probably very little use and reference to the slides in class. Teachers in SMU depend on the 2 main delivery methods for effective teaching. Number one is the slides and worksheets. We can see that usually accounting classes have pretty good worksheets and slides because you have to study through them. There are a lot of numbers. Number two, they usually have good presentation skills. So we can split this up to what you study alone, which is the things that they give you, or what they tell you in class. These two adds up to the whole competency of the teacher. So if we know that Rani Tan has poor slides, that also means that there is an increased focus on the presentations. So the interpretation is that there is a high focus on teaching in class. But what does this high focus on in-class teaching mean? So here's our recommendations. We need to place heavy emphasis on participating in class. Why? Because she's really focused on teaching. So whatever happens is amplified. So you want to participate more in class. The class participation marks is not just 10%. I mean, on paper it's 10%, but it's more than what it appears to me. Let me tell you what that means. In-class participation affects your written assignment grades, which is your essay that you submit and your final exam that you submit, because of the image and impression that she has of you. If she has a good impression of you, naturally the grades that are given in the exams and in the assignments will be higher. So this is the summary of how to get 1 more mark from Professor Rani Tan. Number one, make sure you participate in class very heavily, because there's a lot of focus on teaching in class, not so much on the slides. Number two, Talk about your experiences, your part-time job, your internship, things that you did. Focus on it, especially your personal interpretations, and make sure you put in some theories. All her slides have theories. Don't miss that out. And of course, there will be written assignments. Make sure you just keep going on the theories. You see, this is what we want to give her back. She gives you her slides, many theories. She's telling you she wants theories. Go to the assignment, give her back many theories. That's about it. Thank you for watching. This is one more mark from Professor Rani Tan.